crazy streams. Slinging hustler, doing straight minute solo, flow, pick a pocket with a midget. There's the port. And there's my sign button. Hello, my fellow gamers. This is your King Wally speaking, and I have a bit of a problem. Yeah. Okay. So what I thought was family coming over was my dog coming out of the bath, and I had to help give him a pedicure, which ended in a disaster on my behalf. I ended up getting bitten 3 times, clawed twice, until he finally gave up and just let it happen. Don't let me do that again, okay? A friendly reminder, don't let that happen again. So, yeah, I did that for quite some time, and got some, no, I got a refill, okay? Whatever's in this bottle, you don't have to worry about. No, it's not Red Bull. It's just a drink. A saturated drink. So, further on to our business at hand, we are looking for 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 more suspicious items. Much less characters. I don't know where to begin. Do I head up the Volcamon again? Because I don't know. Could be just Volcamon. It could be something else of the sort. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's like a lot to do here. This is a continuance of what I was doing just a little bit ago before I left. And why am I doing a marathon of DMO? Well, just to get it out of the way, because I want to get some PUBG in and some Subnautica, if I may. Because DMO is wearing down on me. So, yeah. I'm doing my best to keep entertained at this very time. Oh, Kari. Or is that TK? Is that TK? That has to be TK. It is TK. I thought that was Kari there for a second. Little late notice. But, I had a lot going on today. And, I was slowed down by just a little bit of torture. And I'm feeling the burn. I do. I feel the burn. Boom! Boom jams. You know what I wish for? If I had a whole storage space full of cracked eggs from this map. Because cracked eggs from this map is a ton of fun. Yeah, it would leave me with more storage space and a ton of books. Mind you, yeah, a ton of books, and archives, a ton of archives, yes, very much so. But those are the only things I can actually depend on, really, because if anything else, it's tedious, because I have to go back and forth with everything just to sort everything out, and it's kind of hard for me to do that, being the fact that I have ADHD and ADD. Very hard to concentrate. Very hard. And for some people, it's cool. For me, it's a curse. And the reason why it's a curse because the end result of everything that I do ends terribly. Due to the fact that I'm impatient sometimes. Whenever I have a certain amount of something, such as this, I have like 30 of these small fruits now. I could go back and try to get like 3 growth fruits. But with the circumstances of exchange, I'd probably have 0. We were just explaining that not too long ago. But yeah. There is no insurance policy. There is no welcome mat. It's just bad luck. And I'm usually the one with good luck. I'll tell you about it. Before, I was having it out with a few tamers from back in the Lucimon server telling me that there was a certain amount of data that I had to input before it goes off telling me that it was ready to hatch. And little did I know that it was going to be like 3, maybe 4 inserts before it reached 4 to 5x5. So somebody gave me a 5x5 egg and a certain amount of data just to do something. And I hatched it at a 3x5, which ticked them off. I'm sorry about that. But I didn't take that lesson in like as slowly as I should have. Because, you know, I was impatient. And being impatient does not benefit any way at all. So, I did the dumb one. And I would like so much to hatch a Vmon right now, or a Vidramon right now. So I can get an all fours. What is that? That is a beast type egg. Oh. Alright, never mind then. I thought it was a certain special kind of egg. Never seen one yellow before. Huh. Now I have. Wow. Wasn't I supposed to get a certain coin from here? Or anywhere? What's that about? Boom jams. Hello. Got 2. Alright, so we're gonna work with what we got. I'm gonna stick that away because I don't really need it right now. Devimon is not in this area, so I don't really have any necessary need for it to be in my inventory, so I'm gonna put that away as soon as I possibly can. But these seals exchange, we need some more seals to have an exchange rate going. But to do that, I wish they had Vmon in the seal exchange department so that I can, you know, do my exchange. But that didn't happen. Hey. This game's changing. I mean, we had so many errors before, but now everything is looking better. We looked at Omnimon before compared to Alphamon, and Omnimon was the weakest Jogers in the game. Well, apparently now Omnimon and Alphamon are both at the same power level. They are both equal in strength. And Imperial Dramon Paladin mode is like... Well, he's up there. He's like the strongest of every burst mode out there. Can I get a booyah? Come on, give me a suspicious item already. Or was it a sensor? I need a 3. Wait, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, 4. I need 4. What is this? None of my concern. I don't want your stinking seals. And at some point again, I have to go over to File Island to start farming up my KFCs again. Yeah, but like I said before, the reason why I haven't been streaming DMO lately is because I had the lack thereof any help whatsoever to get to where I needed to be. Like for instance, I needed med data or dragon data to get to get Draco to 5x5 or 4x5. 4x5 or 5x5. I had enough hatch backups to bring them up some, but I never used them because, well, I used like 1 or 2 of them. I think I had 3 to begin with. I don't know how many I have left now, but yeah, I had to hatch them as a 3x5, which is kind of annoying in ways. But all things considering, it was a bad habit to start with, and I had to get into a new habit, which is to get into a certain type of rhythm to hatch normal eggs in. And that rhythm is something that I've been telling my used to be guildmates that things would work out. And when they got into that rhythm, they told me their thank yous and started on from there. And I haven't seen them since. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to recruit people when there's no one to come back online for, and it's like whenever I recruited people, they never came back, and it's like all I seen were offline people, and they were inactive. And I don't know what they do in their spare time, and I know people have their lives and stuff, but it's like from days on end, not one day they came back. Harsh. And I validated space for those tamers. And that validation wears down after a while, and a certain time or a certain amount of time that they don't come on. So not only space lost, but that also means power that hasn't been used. Like if they were to clone a Digimon that they chose as their partner, royal partner, that would have been beneficial to our teams, separate from everything else. Now, we have a variety of things to go through, but it's like dungeons, certain amount of dungeons or a certain type of dungeons, we have a certain team for, like megas, burst modes to Joggerses. And depending on the difficulty, we'll use every sort of comes available. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, there's a dungeon for all types of Digimon. For instance, the Chimeramon dungeon, well, Armored Digimon. What was that? accelerator. The Lost Historic Dungeon. Megas or burst modes. The Crack of Devimon. Now, some people would choose to believe that that would be for Jogresses. On the contrary, it can be dealt with burst moves. Because, like I said before, I have a set strategy set and plan, but hardly anybody would believe it would work. And that's kind of sad, because if they are that ignorant to not listen to their guild leader, then they're going to be ignorant to lose. And ignorance is not bliss. You gotta believe, choose to believe, follow, choose to follow, and then... No, I had that backwards. Choose to believe, then believe, choose to follow, and then win. And if there were any circumstance that it didn't work, which that's pretty rare in my case, you know, I, would reward them. But in such cases is to not prove me wrong, and otherwise stick me with, like, a disagreement that they had for quite some time. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, for argument's sake, and say that it doesn't work out, well, it only didn't work out is because you didn't put very much effort into it. I mean, Solix and I, we took care of like half the dungeons in the game with just the two of us. And I used Paladin mode with quite a lot of my dungeon ratings in DMO. And he stuck by me for quite some time. And even he used a Paladin. Because I gave him specific instructions on how to take care of that situation. Right? And I even let him use the same Digimon as me just to do that. And it finally sunk in. How did someone like me get to be so knowledgeable about DMO whenever there's like so many people who choose not to acknowledge what I was saying towards our goal? And it's like, okay, so yes, you were right. Second, you were correct on how to deal with this situation. So I have no reason to distrust you. And I was like, yeah, well, sure, but other people wouldn't see it that way. And there's going to be some arguments about how a lot of people are different and how they have their own beliefs and all, but, you know, it just comes to a certain understanding. And it's like, you got to compromise on what you believe and just follow instructions on how to actually get something done. And whenever it came to Solix and I, we actually had enough to go on to put things to motion. Like the Crack of the Devimon Dungeon, we did that 5 times a day just to look through boxes to see what kind of, instant prizes we got. And we didn't get very many because we were looking for the Tamer tie for quite some time, and that drop is very rare. And I got Mimi twice, so 2 different locations. One, the first time, I was fighting Lady Devimon in the waterfront area. And I don't know where I was whenever I did it in the Lost Historics, but it was somewhere near the Vespamon. the best Pokemon? I can't remember the tree evolution to that, but yeah. But what it all boils down to is that I had simple instructions because these are the things I wrote down, planned out perfectly well. And I do these things because it's strategy. And I go by strategy. And if that strategy didn't work out for them, they were missing something or something didn't go right for them because, not enough effort put towards it. And the effort is simple. You have to clone a Digimon at a specific, straight up, order. You have to have specific attributes put in your clothing, updated to what, you're actually able to claim. Like, for instance, the wearable devices that can be found in the Sovereign Dungeons. I'm still waiting to see when they're going to come out with a Zulongmon dungeon. Because the Zulongmon is the last dungeon that needs to come out yet. Oh wait, I'm going this way. Where are you going? Go this way. "21 minutes. So I have enough time to hand this in and do 1 or 2 more quests later. The source of evil. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take this one. Root out the source of evil. Do it in party or do it by myself. This one's going to actually give me the keys. But I'm gonna wait until I'm all fatigued out. Well, not fatigued out, but gotten rid of my fatigue so that I can actually pull this off. Because I'll be using Paladin mode for this one. But in regards to the situation, it's like half the people that I've partied up with for the Lost Historic Dungeons did not want to do it properly, and I stress properly very hard in this situation, because whenever it comes to recommendations for which rooms to get the buffs from, you can save those buffs, die in the dungeon, and still have those buffs, and then take them on later on in the game. But in the meanwhile, it's like people just skip those rooms, head straight towards the boss, try to take him out by luck. That's not how I do things. If you're really serious about something in regards of goals, and you wanted to stick to those goals, that's fine. I can help with that. But meanwhile, you gotta help yourself help with the circumstances that you're in. Like, if you wanted to, or if you needed a hand in dungeons, I can give you a hand in dungeons. In fact, I could give you tips on how to manage your dungeons. And to do so, there's going to be a lot of variables. To which they would be easy, and then there's going to be difficulty. Because if you're facing with difficulty, you're not cloned, you're not attributed, you're not, buffed up for any events given in DMO. And that's part of the reasons why people died a lot, because of the unpreparedness of it all. And that's the sort of situation that I've been trying to deface. And try to help people out in that sort of circumstance, to where they're like, okay, so if I were to do this differently, how would I go by doing it? And it's simply just following steps that you could take a mass control over. Like, to fight Devimon, you would have to have like these little versions of him taken out first. Solix took one direction, I took the other, and we both hit them all single-handedly. And we did it without getting ganged up on. We were ganging up on quite a few of them at the beginning, because there's like a little group of them around us. And by the time the whole room was emptied, we went straight to the boss himself. And it didn't matter who attacked first. We were both equaled in power by the time the dungeon was done. And after everything was said and done, you know, we were given our gift boxes. We're not lucky enough to get the gift boxes at all. So it's like, no matter what we do, it's a chance of getting the box or not getting the box. And there's a chance of getting a tie and not getting a tie. But there have been, you know, websites that explain all of this, but there were sites that were like, okay, so what are the key items that you're looking for? These are the dungeon bosses that drops these said items. And we made a list, and we made a goal to get that list finished. So we checked off what we got and what we had, and we used them up, or we sold them, and we took care of that situation head on. So without any disregard of what was going on around us, we took care of things our way, so that everything that we needed to get done was already taken care of. Now, as far as keys go, we would do missions or quests, whatever you want to call them, before time, and then have them stacked until the time came that we were going to use them while in party with these groups of people. And some in my group in the Lucimon server decided to think of me as the weak one. And disregarding all beliefs, I had a 3x5, yes, this is true. I had a 3x5 paladin, fully cloned, right, but wasn't fruited, fully cloned, and I had my proper attributes, and I took on one side, he took on a different other side, and both of us wailed on Devimon like there was no tomorrow. And I still lived. So that was 5 days a week, or 5 times a day, 5 days a week, and it just continued on like that until we got what we wanted. And the guy that, you know, recruited Solix into my guild, he was debunked because he was trying to take over the guild, and so on and so forth. I wasn't very happy with that. And of course, anybody who saw it that way would be, as far as, you know, to say, like, you don't want this to happen, you don't want to say such things, or you don't want to say anything that wasn't true. To me, that wasn't the case. To me, it was like, okay, so this person wanted to, you know, give orders because he thinks he's the higher one of the guild. That is not true. I only gave him so many rights to the guild so that he was, like, capable of, you know, recruiting or debunking other recruits. And he recruited Solix. Solix became one of the recruits that were higher maintenance, because I was in charge of one thing. I was keeping mindful of all the members, right? And I organized the system to where there was like, okay, so you got the Mega tier, you got the Joker's tier, and you got the Burst Mode tier. For the Royal Knights, there's like 2 Burst Modes, 3 Jokerses to 4 Jokerses, because, you know, half of them were many, and it was like, Solix wanted his own Jokers to be like this Susanoo-amon. And I granted him Susanoo-amon. But then it was like, okay, so we got this all set up now, we can do this and or do this. He's like, that's cool. We can finally get things done now. So we had so many members in such a little time. And I was trying to organize everything to where it was like, okay, this is what is set on the website and this is what's set on tablet. And if I can get them to match, we're all doing fine. But if I can't get anything on the tablet to go towards, team-wise, what we're going to do in dungeons, there's no way this is going to work. So we had a motion to where it's like, okay, so one of the members that had a Jogress, which I was telling you was trying to take over the guild, was like, okay, but here's the problem. You have a 3x5 and it's not going to work. And the guy who he recruited was laughing at him, and I was working with this guy. And he was laughing at him. He's like, what are you laughing about? And I was like, for one, okay, you just dissed one of your guild masters. And second, your recruit is laughing at you because I was working with him this whole time just to prove you wrong. And he can even verify that 3x5s work against your word. So you either, let me in on the situation or you can just get out. And he took 3 of his friends with him, and we haven't heard from him since. Except for that time he asked me to help him out in that one dungeon where he was waiting for Chimeramon Hero and he wanted to squash it. And I said, no. I ain't working for wimps who does not let 3x5s help in the raid. I haven't heard a word from him since. So the reason why I left that is because that was in Lucemon server. I'm not dealing with Lucemon server ever again. So coming here, starting out fresh, hoping it doesn't happen again. So this is the reason why I felt the need that, having to do this all by myself is very exhausting, and I wanted to put this to the side until Solix got back. And that being said, the only thing I could do at the moment is do missions that I can actually accomplish with my level and Paladin's level and hope for the best, because I don't know. There's a lot of variations to where it's doubts are set in mind and there's no way I could possibly do this. That's not the case. It's just the fact that it's I could accomplish something, but if I need something that I need help with, like getting things put together and all, people are going to ask me to pay for it, and I don't have the terror to pay for it because I was too impatient buying everything else. Where did that beast go? Oh no. So if I had a team of something, they have to be active. I'm not saying 24/7 active, I'm just saying they have to be active. They have to be drawn to their partner to where it's okay, if they like this partner very much, they have the commitment to put their efforts into it, like cloning it and raising it properly so that everything can get done in a better handset to where it's okay, so this can be done in this set amount of time and we won't have any arguments or complaints. And that's the one thing that I work towards whenever it comes to goals, is because people have the tendencies of bailing out at the last minute, but I'm working with the people who don't and are people of their word and very trustworthy on these said goals that they're trying to accomplish. Because if not, it's not really worth my time. And that's what, keeps me, how do you say it? Wears me down to a point where it's okay, so I'm going to have to push this to the side and wait till later until I have some actual help to help me with these next situations. Because honestly, it does drain you. It will seriously drain you. It drained my friend who thought he was going to quit for a good amount of time but came back like months later. So yeah, I think we're good on the subject. So we're 35 minutes in. I think we are good on time. We have the entrance. But just because we have the entrance does not mean we are finished. Let me check the map for something real quick. Because we might have a quest out here to do yet. And if not, we can just end it here. Because this Leomon is supposed to have a quest for us to do back to the Saber Leomon area. And if it's already taken care of, we don't have to. In fact, we can take our keys and fruits and go back to Dat Center and try for a growth fruit. Okay, well, these guys aren't doing anything for us today. Alright, so it's back to Dats we go. We're gonna hit up Digitamamon and craft some fruit if we can. Digitamamon, where are you? Oh, what is this? Two Digimon maze. Alright, maybe I should have looked at the Digivice before I, yeah, so we'll head back there in the next stream. But for right now, alright. Wish me luck. And all failed. See what I mean? I gave up 40 and they all failed. That's life. Well, in the next episode, we're going to clean up Maze by finishing those two quests. See you in the next episode. I'm King Willix. Peace out.